this vital strategy has three parts. First part is keeping a log of your mistakes. The second part is coming back to your mistakes and studying from them. Here's where intervention, a good teacher can really help get you different perspectives, different strategies. Or if you're studying by yourself, look at the answers, see how you can find a way to get the answer, reverse engineer. Okay, so the second step is redoing the mistakes. The third step, I will repeat this. The third step is getting into a place where you have a filtered list, say a week before your exam, and redo all those questions. Okay, so now this whole process is called what I call the feedback loop, and something I've talked about in an old video about 10-15 years ago, specific to the GMAT. But today I'm talking about it specifically for my creative math students, my K-12 math students who are taking exams in the next few weeks, and also my digital SAT class students, who some of who are giving an exam in a few weeks and some little later on, but basically for SAT and math, but can be extended to other subjects. So the feedback loop in three parts. The first part, keep a log of your mistakes. When I say log of mistakes, there are so many times when we think a mistake is silly. No, it's such a silly mistake. That silly mistake idea kind of brushes away the importance of that mistake, because when you make a mistake you lose points, you lose marks, and it's not that silly anymore. So what I would do when I'm studying for an exam and I really want to get a high score, like almost 100, and do really well in an exam that's really important, I would mark my mistakes in two parts. One is conceptual, that means I don't know that concept, I need to revisit that concept, remind myself, or study it anew. And the other one is I would put an S and circle it, the so called silly mistake that my mind tends to slip when I either see those numbers or see that situation. For example, -2 times 3, I read a 6. Oh no, where did the negative go? But if I remind myself that when I see those numbers, my mind tends to slip, then I won't repeat it because I will be aware, I will give that more attention, I will be vigilant when I see those numbers or that situation. So I won't go that route where intuitively I tend to go that route. So the like someone said, the critical counterintuitive is given attention through a conscious channel built by making yourself aware that your mind tends to slip in that place. So, okay, now, oh, I'm here, my mind might slip. No, I won't go that direction. I will go the right way and won't commit a mistake. And the conceptual bit, you just have to learn. And it's always easier if there's someone to explain to you. It's faster, it's more effective. But if you have to do it yourself, go ahead and get it done. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. So, first step of the feedback loop is keeping a log of your mistakes. The second step is actually working on it. Yeah. So the it's the first step sort of transitions to the second, and working on your mistakes means not only getting that question right, but hopefully going on sort of a tangent and finding more questions of this sort, and practicing that little more, getting a little more accustomed to it, getting yourself familiarized with the fact that you can actually do well, actually learn a concept that you feel is difficult. So, very often there's a mental barrier, and sometimes if I want to study something, I have to break a mental barrier, say, okay, let me sit and study. And when I actually start studying, I get into a rhythm, and that rhythm sort of builds momentum. So, regular study and regular practice really builds a rhythm that is almost unshakable. So, it really helps to be regular, and there are last minute crammers that do well too, but in my experience, when I'm regular, I get better results. So the second bit is doing extra practice, giving the mistakes attention. And now the third bit is using that log of mistakes, making it sort of a filtered list, and say a week or two before the exam, revisiting those mistakes, because there's a tendency to forget. It's very normal to forget, and there is a reason to believe that you can reiterate the process and remember by just repetition. Okay, so sometimes my students say, no, I've done I've done these questions before, I don't want to revisit this question. But revisiting the same questions, especially the ones that are difficult, or especially the ones that the student tends to make mistakes in, is so useful, so useful. So it's makes so much more sense to focus on quality versus quantity, and not give too much attention to have I done it before or not, especially when it's so important. So that's the idea of the feedback loop, and I would encourage all of you to, if you're having an exam soon, especially, to work hard, to I don't want to say organize, because organize sort of has so much baggage to it, and strategize is the word like I'd like to use. Strategize and really find a reason in your mind to do well. Okay, I know that for many of you it's a very, very important exam. So find a reason to really pep yourself up, motivate yourself, and get this done. Because in my experience, doing well in high school really sets you up for the rest of your life. Yeah, all the so-called fun you want to have, leave it for college. Okay, high school is so important. It sort of is not just a turning point. Turning point calls it makes it sound like an understatement, but a real place that you can go so many places, and so critical, and it's important. What else can I say? Work hard and do well. Okay, if you're one of my current students in Creative School, feel free to contact me for doubts between classes. Please be regular with classes. And most importantly, perform on exam day. Maybe the last minute or two, I'll talk about exam day and how it's so important. So, on exam day, get a good night's sleep, depending on your sleeping style. But as a teenager, I think it's important to get, I won't give a number to it, but a good sleep, wake up fresh. I say eat light, and definitely drink enough water, not too much. And if you're taking the SAT, decide what to do on the break. And if you're a current student, I will tell you before your exam exact test day strategies to the dot, what to do before the test and during the break. But in general, plan it. Don't eat. I won't say don't leave anything to chance, because there's so much that we don't control. But minimize uncertainty. Plan to the dot what you will do. Uh, Definitely in the morning before the exam, before any important exam, definitely do some studying. Don't want the first question to see on your exam to be the first, math or English question you did that day. You want to be in that rhythm, hit the road running, so that you don't waste any time getting into the zone. So I really wish you well. All the best. I almost forgot to tell you, read the question carefully. Half your work is done if you understand the question and break it down into parts. You might get a complex question that seems daunting. Break it down into parts. On exam day, you might have jitters. You might feel, oh my God, such a big exam. Read the question carefully. Break it down into parts if it's a complex question. Take deep breaths and answer it right. Okay.